Yeah, it's loading. There we go. We there? We on there. We good. What is it saying? Oh, don't worry about that. Is it go live? It's still doing the same thing? Hold up, hold on. All right, folks, let's clap it up, clap it up. Right. The Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohana. Been bringing this truth since 1969. And what is that truth? That truth is that so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives are the descendants of the greatest people that ever walked the face of this earth, and the Bible identifies us as the true biblical Jews of the Bible. Everything we're talking about tonight is history. This is history class, ISUPK history class. This is part 2 of last week's class. Last week's class was from the Emancipation and Civil Rights. You understand? Or the Reconstruction. You understand? And a lot of us believe, like we said last week, that we are free, but we have never been free since we've been on the shores of America. We are the descendants of slaves, and we are slaves. You understand? And like we said last week, when you have to go to your oppressor for food, clothing, water, housing, jobs, that makes you a slave. You understand? And after the Reconstruction, a lot of things were done during and after the Reconstruction. And we, as we said before, emancipation means nothing but being removed from private property to state property. Like we said last week, as a child, the child can be emancipated from his parent. Once you emancipate a child from his parent, the parent is no longer over the child, but the state. The child becomes state property, and I know everybody has heard that term, state property. You understand? And we left off right here at the black codes. We were talking about black codes. We got into the emancipation and everything that Abraham Lincoln did during the emancipation, talking about if he could keep the Union together and not free any slaves, he would have. If he could have freed some slaves, kept the Union together, or if he could have freed all the slaves and kept the Union together. The whole purpose of Abraham Lincoln was to keep the Union together, to keep America in one piece. They did not want to be separated. They did not want to be a North America and a South America, literally. You understand what I'm saying? And just like we see what we see, North Vietnam, South Vietnam, North Korea, South Korea, all of these countries get divided because of civil war. A lot of those civil wars have been created by America. America has been the destruction of a lot of countries on the face of this earth. You understand? Yeah. Like we talked about last week, we also talked about voting last week. And I believe we finished the voting, and what we always say, that we should not put anyone over us who the Most High did not choose, and especially somebody from a heathen nation. Now I know, did you hear about Kamala Harris? Joe Biden has given Kamala Harris his endorsement. A heathen, you understand? And I was actually looking that up today, Kamala Harris and her bloodline, you understand? If you look at her father looks as though he's one of us. But if you look at his father, a picture of his father, he's white, which makes her father white, which makes her white. You understand? So the thing that they're running on, and that I noticed that they're running on, that they used 4 years ago, was Kamala Harris being a woman of color. They used that as a running tool or as a piece of propaganda to capture and captivate the minds of so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American women. You understand what I'm saying? And it worked. It worked. It got Joe Biden into office. It got the women clapping and cheering for Kamala Harris. Well, here we go again. They're using the same propaganda. And we have to understand, as history has shown us, that the heathens will in no way do anything for us. You understand? So voting has not helped us. Right. We've been voting since the 50s, and actually, you had some blacks that had voting rights back right after the Reconstruction. You understand? But as far as everybody being able to vote in the 1950s, we've been voting since the 50s. What has it gotten us? It has gotten us nothing. So after we got off of voting, we moved to jobs. You understand? And the thing that I wanted to touch on tonight was, what was the main thing? What was happening to us right after the Reconstruction? What happened right after the Reconstruction? I shouldn't say with us, but what happened right after the Reconstruction? Remember, the Civil War had just destroyed lots of America, most of the American South, right? So what had to be done? What had to be done? Anybody, what had to be done? Had to rebuild. Had to rebuild. Right after the Civil War, everything is destroyed. You know, America had to be rebuilt. So in rebuilding, who were the main builders? Who were the main builders? There you go, right? It was the emancipated slaves. Officer Al-Azhar said the emancipated slave, which was exactly right. And it was a problem with that, you understand? 1865, 1866, America had to be rebuilt. War had destroyed most of America. So all of the carpenters, or I should say all of the artisan or skilled workers, were the slaves, or the newly so-called free slaves. So when people had to go out and they had to get houses rebuilt, or barns and things rebuilt, or stores in cities and towns rebuilt, who did they go to? And remember this, keep this in mind, a lot of America was out of work because of the Civil War. Civil War had took a toll on America. So you had oppressors out of work, looking for work, and of course, the so-called slave was looking for work. But as an oppressor, who put together those houses the best? The so-called emancipated slaves. So when you go out and you want a house rebuilt, or refurbished, or made over again, you would go out and get an emancipated slave. Why? One, because they were the skilled workers. Number two, you didn't have to pay the full price of an oppressor if you had to pay an oppressor to do the same job. So what happened? All of the slaves were being hired to rebuild. Well, that ain't gonna sit well, that ain't gonna bode well with an oppressor, right? So what did the oppressor do? Go ahead. You hit it right on the money, right? Of course, our oppressor uses violence, but it started labor unions. They had labor unions back in 1866. 1866 was labor unions, but those labor unions failed, right? But they started one labor union that didn't fail. This labor union was started in 1871. It was the Knights Labor Union. It was an all-white labor union. Now, remember this. Why is a labor union started? Why do you start a labor union? What's the purpose of a labor union? Yep, you hitting it. That's exactly right. That's the purpose of a labor union now. But that wasn't the purpose of a labor union back then. The purpose of a labor union was to box people out. The first labor union was an all-white labor union started in 1871. Remember, that's only 1863, 65, 6 years after the emancipation, right? Our oppressor couldn't get work. He was going through a so-called depression, right? He couldn't get work. Why couldn't he get work? Because other oppressors would rather hire someone who was skilled at what he was doing, but didn't have to pay them skilled prices. You understand? So why not hire a former slave to get the job done and to get the job done right? Well, our oppressor, with the mind that he has, created labor unions. And this is the same Labor Day that brothers and sisters celebrate all around the earth every year. This is how Labor Day was created. Labor Day was created, and it was a thing created because just like the celebration of Thanksgiving, thanking the so-called American Indians for the land which we have taken and unalived for, it's the same thing. They're thanking so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives for being able to create something to ostracize or opt you out so that you could be back in the terrible conditions that we live in to this day. You understand? Go ahead.
Okay, so you said the name of the first labor union. You said Knights.
I'm getting ready to pull it for you right now. I knew you was gonna ask for it, right? I'm getting ready to pull it for you right now, man. I ain't going nowhere without no info. You know? Hey, let me grab it.
It sounded so familiar that they would use Knights.
Yeah.
The title Knights. You know what I mean? The Ku Klux Klan. That would definitely, it lets you know.
Yeah. Hold on, did I what's the name this? Let me make sure I think I might have nope, not that. Let me see. I hate when I do that. Hold up. Let me go back in. Yeah, but these labor unions were created to keep us underfoot. You understand? Here we go. Let's see, here we go. I know how to look it up. I did the wrong thing. Okay, here we go. The Knights of Labor. The Knights of Labor. Officially, the Noble and Holy Order of the Knights of Labor was an American labor federation that was active in the late 19th century especially in the 1880s. It operated in the United States as well as Canada and had chapters in Great Britain and Australia. Hold on, wait a minute. The Knights Labor was founded in 1869, was the first major labor organization in the United States. The Knights organized unskilled and skilled workers, campaigned for 8 hourly work days, and aspired to form a cooperative society in which laborers owned the industry in which they work. Hold up, because they not telling all of the thing on that right there, because this was the first white labor union. Hold up, wait a minute. Because they had, see, this say they had up to 700,000 members. Hold on. Hold up, I got you. Oh, here we go right here, look, hold up. This is not it either. Come on, I just had this, man. $1871, come on. You see it? You looking it up? It should be 1871. Anyway, look, check this out. In the beginning of this labor union, right? Knights, go ahead. You got.
Well, you know, Wikipedia,
Go ahead.
the Knights of Labor, officially the Noble and Holy Order of the Knights of Labor, was an American labor federation that was active in the late 19th century, especially in the
80s, right? Because it was started in 1871, and it was an all-white labor union. And that's it right there. That's it right there. You know what I mean? Go ahead. Go ahead, read it.
Founded by Stephen on December 28, 1869. The Knights of Labor reached 28,000 members in 1880, then jumped to 100,000 in 1884.
Right.
By 1886, 20% of all workers were affiliated with the Knights of Labor, which equals nearly 800,000 members. Its frail organization structure could not cope as charges of failure, violence, and calumnies of the association with the Haymarket Square riot.
Right.
Battered it. Most members abandoned the movement in 1886 to 1887, leaving at most 100,000 members in 1890.
Hey, listen, they were still big. You understand what I'm saying? And the whole purpose of that labor union was to alienate blacks and Hispanics out so that we wouldn't be able to work, so that we wouldn't be able to take care of ourselves. That's the whole point of a labor union. When you go into a labor union, you got to pay dues and everything. Coming into the all-white labor union, first off, you had to be white to be in it, and you had to pay dues to get in, which both of those things we know we didn't have. You understand? So, with that, right, it says, thou, Deuteronomy 28 and 38. 28 and 38. And listen, these unions, even if you working at a job that even if you're working at a job that doesn't have a union, you still get the same treatment. And what I mean is the rules and regulations that they have at a lot of jobs. All right, take for instance, they have a rule, especially right here in Maryland, that a job can release you for any purpose. They don't even have to tell you why they're firing you. They can just fire you and let you go for any reason. It doesn't even matter. You understand what I'm saying? These are things that are created so that they can make a quota, and then after their quota is made, they can release you. How many black people did you hire this year? Boom. We hired this many. Oh, but he got fired, he got fired, he got fired. They don't have to report why you got fired. You understand what I'm saying? All of this labor union, all of these labor unions, you don't pay labor union dues, you can't be in the labor union, thus you can't work at this job. You understand what I'm saying? All of these things that they put together so that we can't survive. You understand? They make up all kinds of rules. Got a dude that was working at my old job, never worked a machine a day in his life, but they hired him as a machinist. But because he's an oppressor, oh, don't worry about it. But as soon as somebody come in the door who's one of us, black or Hispanic, as soon as you make one mistake, oh, you can't, or if you never done it, oh, we can't hire you. See, rules, these laws that we live under, and this is a curse. You understand? We've been cursed because we're being disobedient to the Most High. And we've been disobedient for a long time. You understand? And we should get some kind of inkling or understanding that maybe if we follow the Most High, we can come out from under this. But these laws that are created are not created for the oppressor, but these laws are created for us. You got that scripture?
Yeah.
Read that.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 38. Thou shalt carry much seed out into the field.
Hey, listen, they work us like slaves. You understand? We carry much seed out into the field. When we be at these jobs, we know that we're at a disadvantage, so we work extra hard just to try to hold on to the little bit we got. You understand what I'm saying? We take much seed out into the field. Go ahead.
And shalt gather but little in.
But we shall gather little in. You understand? There's a big pay difference when we come into the door. They make laws, they create laws that say you can't discuss pay on the job. When you're working on the job, you can't discuss it with another employee or you'll be terminated. I've seen it happen. You understand what I'm saying? They create these laws. Listen, we think we are free, right? But the laws that they create keep us in bondage. I mean, think about it, right? Why can't you discuss how much you get paid with another employee on the job? What kind of law is that? You understand what I'm saying? What kind of law is that? You understand? Look at who we're under. We're under our oppressor. You understand? We carry much seed out into the field. Go ahead.
For the locust shall consume it.
Say that again.
For the locust shall consume
The
it.
little bit we bring back, the locust shall consume it. Look at what's happening to us. You understand? It's a big differential in pay. You understand? We know that the oppressor is getting paid more than us. We work harder, but we get paid less. You understand? Taking all the seed out into the field, but we bring little back. And the little back, the locusts consume it. Think about what we just talked about earlier, right? You get that little bit of pay, and what's the first thing that you got to do?
Pay bills.
Pay bills. Who do you pay?
The oppressor.
And what bills are you paying to the oppressor? Again, you got to pay for housing to the oppressor because we don't own anything where we are. You got to buy food from the oppressor because we don't grow our own food. We don't even have a food industry. We got to buy clothing from the oppressor because we don't make our own clothing. You understand? We got to get water. We got to get everything that we need from the oppressor. That's a slave. You understand what I'm saying? The locust, our oppressor, and not to mention the other nations that come into our neighborhood and take the little bit that we got. You understand what I'm saying? We allow the Asians to come in and take the little bit, charge astronomical amounts of money for rotten food, for stale food. You understand? For old food. The locusts tear us apart. Go ahead. What you got?
I don't want to bring out a precept, which was that.
I know. I was getting ready to think about that one too. You talking about the one that what was we just saying? Go ahead.
I was thinking about Micah 2:10.
Go ahead.
It say, "Arise ye and depart,
For this
is not your rest."
exactly. Listen, this is not our rest, but we get comfortable in it.
Yeah.
We get comfortable being slaves. We get comfortable with people telling us what to do. We get comfortable with choosing and placing people over us who the Most High did not choose. You understand what I'm saying? We get comfortable in that. It says, "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest." We get too comfortable. The Most High wants us to move away from our oppressor. But if we move away from our oppressor, we have to move towards the Most High. It's either you're with the oppressor or you're not. If you're not with the oppressor, you got to be with the Most High. As long as you're not with the Most High, you're with the oppressor. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. We can't get comfortable in hell. Everybody around us is living in heaven. And man, I say everybody around us, I'm talking about all these other nations. I talk about it all the time. We go out to North Potomac, where the Asians have a whole community. They got their own schools. They got their own stores. They got their own houses. They got their own community centers. They got everything belongs to them. Then not too far from them, the East Indians have their own churches and everything, have their own communities. Think about this, right? We the only people on the face of this earth that don't have a land of our own. We don't have anything that we can say, this is what we built. This is ours. This is where we go to school. This is where we teach our children. This is where we feed our people. This is where we clothe our people. We're the only people that don't have that. You understand? Because the locusts are consuming us. These other nations are literally feeding off of us. And I think, and every time we talk about the other nations feeding off of us, I always think about our sisters with all this hair, these nails, all of this, all of this stuff that they doing their bodies with and everything like this. And I'm talking about the hair, the nails, the eye, all of that type of stuff. Why don't they own that industry? That's another nation feeding off of our people. That's the locusts eating the goods of our people, eating off of us. You understand what I'm saying? We just destroyed by them. And we loving it. We loving it. You understand? How does a people who don't even do their own hair sell you something to do your hair with? They own the whole hair industry. Listen, they own the whole hair industry and the whole nail industry. Anything got to do with your nails, they got all of it. Because they know our sisters buy all of that. And they'll do just about anything to get that. Except for go out and take over the industry themselves. We always hear them talking about this black girl power. You understand what I'm saying? Black girl power, black girl excellent, all of this type of stuff. How are you excellent and you're allowing someone who hates you to take over the industry that you control? You destroyed as a people. You understand? What does it say again? The locust shall consume it. The locusts have consumed our people. Look at what's going on with us. Think about this, even with the brothers, right? Even the music industry, the rapping, a whole industry that you control. but we don't get a fair share of the pie. We don't get a fair share of anything because the locusts are consuming it. Think about this, right? How is a brother one of the best artists in the industry, but he's the last one to get paid? And think about this, right? How is everybody getting paid, but you're the only one who goes in the hole? You're the only one who they loan money to and then put usury on it. How is that? Because the locusts are consuming it. We're allowing other nations to feed off of us and just standing around while everybody eats first. Think about it, right? You cooking up a whole dinner and you step back and people you don't even know come in and eat everything up and step back and everything's gone and you looking like, that's the whole thing right there. Go ahead. Was that the end of it?
We was done, we was done with Deuteronomy 28. You want to go down to 39?
Yeah, go ahead.
Verse 39. Thou shalt plant vineyards and dress them, but shalt neither drink of the wine.
Think about listen. Thou shalt plant vineyards. Go ahead, say it again.
But shalt neither drink of the wine.
Start it from the top again.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 39. Thou shalt plant vineyards and dress them, but shalt neither drink of the wine.
It says, thou shalt plant vineyards and dress them. Think about it, right? Thou shalt be out there on that football field, on that basketball court, on that baseball field. Thou shalt dress it. Thou shalt fill that stadium up. Thou shalt fill the stadium up, but thou shalt not drink the wine. You shall not get the billions that are coming in. You understand what I'm saying? We get to help to build it up, but we don't reap the benefits.
Right.
That's in anything that we do. You understand? Right. Everything that we do, whether it be in sports, whether it be in music, whether it be in drama, whether it be in movies or anything, we build that thing up, but we don't benefit. Think about the sister who said the other day, what did the sister say a couple of weeks ago? She was happy that Tyler Perry, after 30 years, Tyler Perry had finally paid her what she was worth. After 30 years of being in movies. I'm surprised Tyler Perry did it, but, But the whole point is after 30 years, you build up an industry, but you don't get to taste that wine. You don't get to sip that wine. You pick the grapes. You plant the seeds. You understand? You dress it up, make it look beautiful. You bring out the best in everything. You bring out the best in that vineyard, but you don't get to reap the benefits of tasting that wine. You understand? Go ahead. Man, listen. It's been going on before that. Think about 1921. Think about the destruction of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and all of those cities and towns. Think about it. I know what you talk about, muddy waters. Yeah, they've been stealing for us for things, but it goes way back. You understand? Think about before the emancipation, before the Reconstruction, while we were still slaves. Think about all of the creations and inventions that they stole back then. So this is life, but this is a curse. This is disobedience at its height. This is the disobedience at its fullest. We looking at history and we looking at it still happening. You understand? We looking at it still happening. We got brothers, just like we always say, black faces in high places. But what are they doing for us? They're being used. to control the sheep. We follow them. You understand? Martin Luther King, Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, all of them, we've been following them for years. Martin Luther King, the Big Six and all of that. We going to Washington, D.C., and we going to get our check. Guess what? Martin Luther King went to Washington, and he got his check. $1.5 million between the Big Six, $250,000 apiece. You know what that's like? That's almost $10 million in today's money. So think about it. You got $10 million to deceive your people. They reaping. So if they got $10 million, right? Or let me go back. Let me say what they got. They got $250,000. If they got $250,000, how much did the oppressor get for controlling that? For not having to give you jobs, for not having to, for not having to do anything for you. That's what voting does for us every year. Every year you vote. This is what befuddles me. What's funny to me is we can go out and vote every year and say we going out to vote, we going out for vote, and you can get nothing. And you can sit back and say, wow, well, I guess better luck next time. I don't know nobody who does that. When we out in the real world, if you don't get something from a particular store, you leave that store alone and you go somewhere else. But we the only people that keep voting. You keep voting. We gotta keep voting. We gotta keep voting. Think about this, right? How often do you see the Asians run out to vote? How often do you see the East Indians run out to vote? The East Indians got all the Dunkin' Donuts. You understand? The Arabs got all the liquor stores. They got gas stations and everything. They even got the Ethiopians and Africans in the gas stations. I never see them running out to vote, ever. Every time you see it, it's all black people lining up to vote. That's the propaganda. We're going to do a class on that too, but that's propaganda. To have people think about it, right? That's the definition of insanity, to do the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. We think something going to happen. Oh, it's going to pop today. That's playing. We'd be better off playing lottery, Mega Millions. We got a better chance of winning Mega Millions before our oppressor will do anything for us through voting. That's bad. It's heavy, but it's bad. You know what I mean? You got a better chance of winning the Mega Millions. Terrible. Go ahead.
It's almost like we got the audacity to really try to make this life beautiful. We so disobedient to our God. It's like the audacity of us to really think that we can climb and make this place a better place.
Hey, listen, and how many times we go out there and say that to the people in the street, and the people in the street say, it could be a different way. We could do it in a different way. We ain't got to go that way, but we ain't tried this way. You understand? And like we said before, right? Every nation, no other nation runs out there to vote. You don't see the Asians. You don't see, and listen, I didn't even know it was this many Palestinians until this war broke out with the Palestinians and Israelis, right? I didn't even know it was that many Palestinians in America. You don't see them running out to vote, but they got power. You don't see the Asians running out to vote, but they got power. The Afghans don't run out to vote, but they got power. The Ethiopians, the Arabs, nobody runs out, but they got power. Power is not in voting. You understand? Power is coming together as a community, as a nation. The problem is we don't understand that we are a nation of people being held captive in a nation. Next one we're going to jump to is property, right? Restricting the kinds of property that black people can own. This is another thing that holds us back. You understand? This is another law. This is black codes, what we're talking about, black codes. Think about it, right? We was talking about it earlier. We don't own any big industries, and what I mean is industries, black codes restrict you from owning any kind of industry that can build a nation. A simple gas station can build a community. Properly run, a gas station can build up a whole community. The more gas stations you own, the more communities that you can build up. Gas stations make a lot of money. You see how the prices jump, and everybody needs it. Whether you got lawnmower equipment, whether you got generators or cars or trucks, everybody needs it. Gas station can build you up. Even a mall, owning a mall can definitely build a whole community. If you got the right size mall, you can damn near build a city off a mall. Think about all of the hospitals, the restaurants and everything that they destroy the vows. Why did they destroy those cities and towns? Right after the Reconstruction, they just started destroying black cities and towns because they understood that if these people control their own destiny, they'll be over top of us. Remember, going through their Great Depression, we were kicking out millionaires. They understand that if we can get them to give up what they got, we can control them. Thus the civil rights. Integration. You give up everything you got. When you integrate into anything, you become the thing you integrate into. Always use that thing. You ever see Star Trek The Next Generation? They had an entity called the Borg. The Borg used to go around and destroy different planets, right? The Borg would go around destroying different planets, but the Borg would come in and make you feel like, listen, you need to join us, and life would be better if you join us. That's integration. And once you join into the Borg, then they destroy everything you got. You become part of the Borg, and you help the Borg to get bigger. That's integration. Whenever you integrate into anything, you become that thing. We're helping America be great. America can't be great without us. America doesn't run on Duncan. America runs on so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives. You understand? So owning property and things like that, they control what kind of property that you own, how much property that you own, so that you really could only basically help yourself. They only gave you enough just to survive, not enough to thrive. You understand? Enough to survive, but not enough to thrive. Think about this. Always use this again. Maryland Doctrine of Exclusion. Maryland Doctrine of Exclusion of 1638 was a law that said any slave, descendant of a slave or black person cannot enjoy the fruits of white society. The fruits of white society are schools, colleges. You understand? Because if you got schools and colleges, you control the mind of your people. If they have the schools and colleges, they control our minds. You understand? This is a proven fact. Look at us. How often, before we came into the truth, how often did we say that Pledge of Allegiance? How often did we stand for that flag and that God bless America? How often we did it all the time. Because they controlled the mind. Think about it. When you learn in the Pledge of Allegiance, you learning that as a kindergartner, a 4 or 5 year-old. Because they know if they control the minds of that 4 or 5 year-old, they can control the mind of a grown man and a grown woman. They're going to have you running up and down the court for the USA. You understand? We seeing it happening right now. You understand? We watching that happen right now. How many people fighting to get to Paris, to run for America, to high jump for America? You understand what I'm saying? To shoot a basketball for America. You understand? This is the things that happen to us when we don't own schools and colleges, when you can't teach your children. Critical race theory. Critical race theory is real American history. If we don't teach real American history, critical race theory, then our children are going to grow up loving America. They're going to grow up wrapping themselves in that flag, singing God Bless America. Go ahead.
Right. Because comment says separation is godly.
Hey, separation is definitely godly. Definitely. You understand? What does holy means to be separated? You understand? And he separated us from the other nations. That was a hell of an answer, Booker. You understand? He separated us from the other nations. We're supposed to be separated. You understand? Now, we can do business with the other nations. You understand? But as far as intermingling and intertwining ourselves with the other nations, no. We are to be separate. You understand? We got 12 tribes to choose from. We don't need to mix and mingle with another nation of people. You understand? So, not owning schools, not owning your own businesses, now you got to buy clothing, not owning your own clothing stores, not owning your own leather shops, not owning any kind of restaurants. Now you got to eat what the oppressor feeds you. You understand? That's the thing right there. That's the property part of the black codes. They control what we own. They went around the country burning up different cities and towns. They understood that if they burned those cities and towns down, now we would have to once again rely on them. We would have to come crawling back to them. You understand? That Maryland doctrine of exclusion was a perfect example of a law that has not been rescinded. That law is still to this day, because if you look at it, what do we own? We don't own nothing. We don't enjoy any fruits of white society. Don't. I mean, think about it, right? Us just buying a car makes us happy. If we can struggle to get a house, we happy. You understand? We ain't thinking about taking care of nobody else but ourselves. That's the way they want us. They want us with that selfish attitude, because they know we won't think about building anybody else up. But here in the ISUPK, we learn different. We build our people up. You understand? Look, it's talking about owning large pieces of property that could build upon, that you can build upon and sustain and build a nation of people on. And I put down, the shopping centers, the gas stations, schools, communities, industries large enough, you understand, television, radio, all of these things they control. All these things they control. We don't control any of that. Think about it. We think BET is black entertainment. No, it ain't. They own that. They control what we see. And this is the reason why they had the sisters on there shaking their butts and twerking on the that award show. What was that, a week ago? About a week or two ago? You understand? Because and again, propaganda. That television, that radio, all of that stuff is used as propaganda against us. They show the ignorant side. So when people from other nations see us, that's what they think we are. You understand? So it's an industry that if we owned our own industries like that, we would show people differently. And they know we would do that, but this is the reason why they control what is being seen, what is being taught. You understand? All of that Atlanta housewives and Orange County housewives and all of that old type of stuff like that, all of that is used as a propaganda tool, because when our women see that stuff, then they go out and display it on the street. And they say, see, I told you. I told you that's them. Control it, Public contact, right? Preventing contact between blacks and white citizens in public places. Hey, that's cool. I'm with that. You don't even need that as a black code. We with that. You understand what I'm saying? But this is the most important part, vagrancy, right? Vagrancy, criminalizing joblessness, and prohibiting loitering, right? At will employment, we talked about that earlier. At will. At will employment is they can fire you for any probable cause. At will employment. That's a law in Maryland. They can just get rid of you. You understand? Controlling. So if we had our own businesses, this is the locusts feeding off of us. Once they finish using you up, they just discard you. It's just like they do in football, baseball, and basketball. Once they used all your talent up, they get rid of you and put brothers and sisters on the auction block again and pick from them again. I'm gonna pick some new slaves. You understand? And we always say, right, if he giving you $1 million, how much is he getting? You understand? Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiasticus. We're going to grab that. Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, and we're going to start at verse 17. You understand? They use that at will employment. So like I said, they can use you, and they'll smile in your face. They can use you, smile in your face. Once they finish with you, they get rid of you. Hey, look, pull you into the office. Look, right now, I think we going in two different directions. Right. You know, how many times you heard that? Look, I think we just going in two different directions. You know what I mean? Man, listen, I hate to do this. You know what I mean? It really kills me. You know what I mean? But we're gonna have to let you go. You understand? I've seen that before. That hasn't happened before. You understand what I'm saying? Oh man, what I'm gonna do? Hey, listen, you know you can go down to the employment building. You know what I mean? This is how they do us. Go ahead, read that.
It's Ecclesiasticus chapter.
Ecclesiasticus 12.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 17. If adversary come upon thee.
If adversity. Adversity. Go ahead, you got it.
If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first.
Then listen, if adversity come upon you, you're gonna find them there first. You understand? And why do we always find them there first? Go ahead. And though
he pretend to help thee.
And that's how they be, right? They gonna act like they pretending to help. Hey, listen, have you ever seen somebody get fired and they give you a severance package? Yeah. The severance package only gonna last you about a month or two, but you still gonna be unemployed. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And a severance package should be big enough to last you about 6 months to a year. That's a real severance package, but they don't do that for us. You understand? It says, if adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find them there first. Listen, they always there first. You understand? And though he pretend to help thee, go ahead.
Yet shall he undermine thee.
He gonna undermine you. You understand what I'm saying? And this is what our oppressor does. Our oppressor has never been there to really truly help us, even in that civil rights movement. Over that big six that they said that was leading the civil rights movement, it was 4 oppressors over top of them. And at the end of the day, civil rights didn't get us a thing. Although they sit there and act like they pretending to help us, they are here to undermine us. The civil rights movement undermined black people. Now you got Asians and Afghans and every other nation of people coming here benefiting off the civil rights movement. Everybody getting civil rights but us. Think about this, right? Joe Biden took 2 weeks and gave an Asian hate law. Right. They talking about the Asian hate law the other day. When they gonna get a nigger hate law? Yeah. I mean, come on now. We being destroyed every day. We being unalived every day and still can't get a law to help us. But we going out there, you know, supporting the Asians, supporting the Palestinians, supporting the Afghans, supporting the Ukrainians. We can see everybody's oppression but our own. That's a shame. That's destroyed as a people. You understand? Go ahead.
Verse 18. He will shake his head and clap his hands.
He gonna shake his head like he gonna shake his head like he with you and clap his hands like he with you. Go ahead.
And whisper much.
And whisper much. Go ahead.
And change his countenance.
And change his countenance, man. He gonna change his attitude. He gonna change that look. You ever seen, you know the countenance is that look on a person's face. You ever seen a person, you ever seen a movie, right? And the person be smiling at them, yeah. And when the person look away, you see the whole person's face change. You're like, oh shit. You be like, that's the countenance. That's the real, listen, his countenance is how he really feels. You understand? His countenance is how he really feels. That change of his attitude shows on his face. That personality really comes out. What does it say? As though he looking through a looking glass, and it's all but been wiped away. You understand? When you really clean your mind, when you really clear your head, when you really start to observe the oppressor, you'll see him for what he really is. You understand? And that's the problem with most of us, is we don't see the oppressor for what he really is. Regardless of what he does, we truly believe, well, if I stay loyal, eventually he gonna do something for me. That's how we think.
Right.
If I stay loyal, if I stay true, and we can't even do that for our own people. Soon as one of us do something, we cut them off just like that. If we could only have that attitude for the oppressor, and the love that we show our oppressor, we show our own people, we'd be better off. We'd be on top. Go ahead. That was it? Okay, you can drop that. Go ahead, drop that. And listen, they got, even in this, with these black codes, right? They had apprentice laws. Listen to this. And right after the Reconstruction, the apprentice laws was making black orphans and dependents available for hire to white people, making them slaves all over again, taking our children. This is what happens right now. You understand? The arresting of our children. When you arrest children without probable cause, they talked about a judge. The police were arresting children, and the judge was, even innocent children, was convicting them for time because it was a scheme that they had going on with the jail system, the juvenile jail system. And the more children that he convicted and brought into the jail system, they would give him like a stipend or a bonus or something. So he was convicting innocent children and sending them up. You understand? This is what they do to us. This is what they do to our children. You understand? Making us go through all kinds of paperwork, because you know they put you through hell to get your kid out of a bind, even when he's innocent. Think about the Central Park 5. Think about all of the hell that they went through all those years that they was locked up, only to be found innocent. But after their lives had been destroyed, and one of them committed suicide. You understand what I'm saying? One of them unalived itself. You understand? This is, listen, making black orphans and dependents available for hire to our oppressor. We destroyed as a people. You can drop that and give me Deuteronomy 28 and 41.
41?
Yep, 28 and 41.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 41. Thou shalt beget sons and daughters.
Go ahead.
But thou shalt not enjoy them.
And listen, this is what happens to us. You understand? Because they have control of our sons and daughters. Listen, remember, emancipation means to be taken away from being private property and be in control of the state. Now you become state property. So if I can convict you for a crime, even as a child, we take you from being property of your parents to becoming state property. Now we can have you working for us for free as a slave. You understand? That's making black orphans and dependents available for hire. These are the laws. This is the reason why they create those vagrancy laws. They create laws. They got laws that if you're found on the street without $1 in your pocket, you can be arrested. If you're found without ID on you, think about it. The police stop you now and ask you for ID. Oh, you don't got no ID? Well, I'm gonna have to detain you until I can figure out who you are. This is all a part of what they've been doing. This is nothing new. And all of this stuff that's happening to us now is nothing new. All of this is history. We're talking about this in history class now. This is history. These are the things that happen to us. We have to get some kind of understanding. We have to understand that the Most High gave us laws, statutes, and commandments to follow. We follow these laws, statutes, and commandments, we won't end up in the condition that we're in. That's just how it is. You understand? Go ahead.
For they shall go into captivity.
Listen, where are our children at right now? In captivity. Children being locked up by the busloads. By the busloads. And there's nothing that we can do. You got mothers and fathers sitting home crying because there's nothing they can do. And it's real, it's bad to have your child locked up, but it's even worse when you know your child is innocent. And there's nothing that you can do to get you know all the red tape and everything that they put you through to get your child out, all because they want to have your child in captivity to use them. If you go on Facebook, at any time you go on Facebook, you can see children missing. Little girls, little boys missing. Women missing. People just popping up missing. How is that? It's this captivity that we're in. You understand? We've fallen into the hands of our oppressor. We've fallen into the hands of a beast. We got to understand who we're under. You understand? We supposed to, listen, that's an old school thing to say it takes a village to raise a child. You understand? I remember the neighborhood used to watch all the children.
Right.
You couldn't do nothing. If they saw somebody who didn't belong around there, especially if it was an oppressor, people came out on their porch, wanted to see what you was doing. Told the kids, come over here, baby, come over here. You understand? This is what they did. You understand? We lost all of that. We lost all of the sense of love for our people. So much so that the other nations just swoop in and they scoop and eat off of us. The locusts. This is the locusts. Is that it on that?
That's on 41.
Okay, you can drop that. You got commercial laws excluding black people from certain trades and businesses. Think about it, right? Excluding black people from certain trades and businesses. Now they say you got to go to school for this. You understand? Think about this, right? Why should a sister who's been doing hair all her life have to go to school? Did I do that? Why should a sister that been doing hair all her life have to go to school to prove that she can do hair? You understand? You've been doing nails all your life. Now you got to go to school to prove that you can do. You got to be a beautician. You understand? To go to school to prove that the thing that you do in the kitchen every Saturday morning, now you got to go prove and you got to go pay to show that you can do that. You understand what I'm saying? Brothers that can cut hair, now you got to go to barber school. Niggas been doing that on the side since we was little. You understand what I'm saying? Now you got to go to school for it just to open up a business. You understand what I'm saying? This is how they feed off of us. This is how they keep us out of certain industries. You understand? This is how they keep us out of the hair and the nail industry. You understand? They can say yay or nay whether they want to give you that license or not. They say yay or nay. They don't say that to the Asians. They got a contract with them. What does Psalms 83 say? It says what? They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, right? That's the crafty counsel. Listen, we'll let you take over that industry if you make that money and keep them off their feet. Look at us now. We're going straight to the Asian. We're going to Lang Lang. Get Ling Ling to buy your hair from Ling Ling. Get Ling Ling to do your nails. You understand what I'm saying? We destroyed. I remember when girls used to do that. I remember when sisters used to sit out there and do that. I'm going over Lisa's house to get my hair done. I'm gonna pay her. Yep, yeah, she do hair. Oh, girl, you need to go over there. You understand? I'm gonna let Monique do my nails. You know what I mean? Ain't no more of that. And sisters be wondering why they can't get money. You can't get money because you're giving everything away. The very thing that is in your DNA to do, you can't get money because you've given it away. It says the first labor union was created in 1871 to move blacks out of skilled worker positions. You understand? That's where it was. And then you got the Jim Crow laws. You understand? Jim Crow laws were state and local laws introduced in the southern United States in the late 19th and early 20th centuries that enforced racial segregation. Jim Crow being a pejorative, listen, pejorative meaning expressing contempt or disapproval, a term for an African American. Such laws remain in force until 1965. Them laws still in place right now, right? Pejorative means expressing contempt or disapproval for something. The origin of the phrase Jim Crow has often been attributed to Jump Jim Crow, a song dance caricature of black people performed by a white actor, Thomas D. Rice, in blackface, first performed in 1828. First performed by him, blackface. We seen what's his name do that? What's the dude off of Cheers?
Cheers. Like Sam.
Yeah, yeah.
James or something like that.
What's his name?
Ted Danson.
Ted Danson.
That's it.
Yeah, Ted Danson. I think Ted Danson. Yeah, you understand? He did the blackface because he was knocking off Whoopi Goldberg. And see, this is the problem with it too, right? The oppressor feel like they can do what they want to do when they intermingle. And this is the reason why the Most High tells us not to intermingle with the other nations. Because once you intermingle with the other nations, you begin to see life through the eyes of the nation of people that you intermingle with. So when those people begin to use you and destroy your character, you can't see it. Just like Whoopi Goldberg couldn't see it. His name Ted Danson? From off of Cheers, right? You understand? And this is the problem with us intermingling with these other nations of people. We destroyed as a people. Ted Danson. Yeah, you know what I mean? In blackface. Destroyed as a people. We don't care what nobody does to us. We see the pain and anguish of other nations of people, but we just can't see our own pain and anguish. We destroyed. How long are we going to continue to let that happen? How long are we going to continue to let other nations take over and destroy us and eat off of us? You understand? It says, and I'm going to read that back. It says Jump Jim Crow was the actual term. And it was a song and a dance caricature of black people performed by white actor Thomas D. Rice in blackface, first performed in 1828. As a result of Rice's fame, Jim Crow had become by 1838 a pejorative expression meaning Negro. Give me Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 36.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 36. The Lord shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known.
That's America. We brought our people right into a nation which neither thee or our fathers have known. Go ahead.
And there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone.
Hey, listen, this is what that Christianity and that Islam get us into. Following other nations and allowing other nations to run all over us. Got the brothers in there wearing dresses and skirts in Islam. Got us running around acting like women in Christianity. Being destroyed by women. You understand? Go ahead.
Verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword.
An astonishment. You know, that's how people look at us. Like, you ever look at somebody and be like, God damn, how you let them do that? We do that, right? And you become a proverb. He's stupid. Man, he's silly. You understand? And then you become a byword. You understand? Negroes. You understand? Wetbacks. You understand? Silly people. We silly as a people because we don't want to follow what the Most High told us to do. You understand? This is why all the other nations look at us in astonishment and they talk about us because they see what they see. They see what America has turned us into, believing that we are that thing, not understanding that we're just following what America does. But this is the reason why the Most High tells us to separate ourselves. We are holy people. We are holy people unto him, unto the Most High. He gives us laws, statutes, and commandments. This Bible is a moral compass. But we're following the morality of America. America has totally destroyed us as a people. But this ISUPK, when we go out there on these corners, this is what we're trying to bring back. We're trying to bring back the morality of our people. And the only way that we bring back the morality of our people is going out there and telling our people what we're doing wrong and how to get right. You understand? It's not like we don't want to get right. We want to get right. We just don't know how. Well, here in the ISUPK, we got the answers. You understand? And with that, we're the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. We've been bringing this truth since 1969, and what is that truth? It's so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives are the true biblical Jews of the Bible, and our oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Hey, listen, we got classes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right here in Baltimore. You understand? We got that history class on Monday. We got the brotherhood class on Tuesday and the law class on Wednesday, right? We listen to the scripture breakdown with General Mahyman on Thursday, and the brothers teach the Lashawan Kodash on Friday. All those classes are from 7 to 9. Hey, listen, get into class, learn who you are, get back to this morality that has truly been given to us by the Most High. With that, I'm going to turn the class over to Priest and Officer Alazar.
These are the security announcements. We are the ISUPK out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes to the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are here to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers chapter 18, verse 21, and Malachi chapter 3, verse 8 through 10. Means 10th in the Hebrew and is pronounced ma'asharah. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, gives to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming holy convocation. Memorial blowing of the trumpet, that's in October. October the 2nd. That's Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, verses 24 through 25. Remind Akim and Akwafium to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUPK events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he is to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirts, pants, headbands, or scarf. And with that, we're going to give one courteous salute to the teacher, men of Israel, Amadiyam, which means to stand. Amadi Shabbat, Amadiyam, Barak, Yahweh Shem Yahshua Rakatah, Yazamatah, class dismissed.